Hi traders, thanks for stopping by thetradinganalyst.com. This is Taylor and we're going to take a look at a bunch of charts here, and I'm going to give my analysis and my thought process, and you're going to walk away from this video with some newfound knowledge on technical analysis, as well as hopefully some profitable trade ideas based off of this free analysis video that we're about to give you right now. But first, if you're not already a member at thetradinganalyst.com, go ahead and give us a visit on the home page of the website and get to know us a little bit better. If you like these free videos and analysis that we give to you on a daily basis, it's really nothing in comparison to the membership you get once you sign up with that premium membership. Once you sign up with the premium membership, you're going to get instant access to the profitable trade alerts that our current members are getting on a daily and weekly basis. It's a great opportunity, and we'd love to help you start making some profitable trades in the market. All right, so let's take a look at the charts here. We're going to start off with Priceline, and I want to focus on a couple levels here on Priceline. You can clearly see we reacted to this level down here at about 1800 to 1820. You can see it was previous resistance there, support there, support here, support here. So this is a big time level. So we bounced off of it for quite some time here. You can see we're still above that level. So about 1820 to 1800 is that bounce zone that you want to look for. As far as resistance, we've got resistance up here at about 1908. What you want to pay attention to also is this huge gap down on earnings right here with some big time selling volume. All right, so what we saw there is a gap down with some big selling volume 2 days in a row, this day and then the following day, both with very large selling volume days. All right, we also came down here into this 30 below this 30 RSI level. It doesn't really do that that often, and you don't really want to see that happen on a stock that is supposed to go up. So a strong stock tends to stay above that 30 RSI. So volume as well as gapping lower on that earnings, it's something we've seen before, and you can clearly see we also broke this trend line that started here in 2016. Got a bounce right there, got a bounce here, bounce here, bounce here, and then you can clearly see, what a coincidence, we gapped down just below that trend line, and you can see we're still below that. So overall, you just want to be aware of that in the long term. Doesn't mean we can't get some bounces here in the short term, but just be aware. We've got resistance up here in 1908. We gapped down huge on earnings. You know, earnings is what moves stocks. Obviously, other things have some influence on stocks, but earnings is, you know, the most pure form of looking at, you know, the health of the company. So we broke below that trend line here, huge volume. Definitely want to be aware of that. And also of these shorter term support levels right here, and then that resistance up here at about 1908. The next one that we're going to take a look at is Twitter. And Twitter, here we are. We called for a breakout over this high right here into this gap. We got just that. Now this level is going to be a level of support. So if we do head lower, which it seems like we can, we're going to have support right here at about 1750. Also right here at 1750 is that 50-day moving average. You can't see it because this support line is there. I'll just move it so you can see it. There's that 50-day moving average, the red line right there, and here's that 20-day moving average creeping up as well, and they're both going to be right there around 1750. So definitely want to pay attention to that 1750 level, because most likely we're going to get a bounce there. And then we've got this gap to fill up here at about 1950, which is where I think we can potentially head as long as we hold that 1750 level that is just below us. Next, we're going to cover the GoPro chart here. And GoPro finally has, I think, established a real bottom. So, and what I mean by that is we sustained these lows here, but we also broke over this resistance. As you can see right there's that resistance, there's that resistance, right here there's that resistance, and we also did so, look at all this volume right here. So not just this breakout here on this day right here, but we did so also on that day and then the following days as well. You can see here's the average volume down here, and you can see all these days are like double the average volume or triple the average volume. You know, if you look at the weekly chart, you can see it a little more clearly right here. And look at this, just breaking over that 50-week moving average right here for the first time since over here. Obviously, we failed the last time, but to me, this is a better setup. And I think that, you know, we could see some strength here on GoPro, some strength that, you know, could last, you know, more than just, you know, a week or two like it kind of has in the past. So I'm definitely changing my stance here on GoPro. And you got to change as price changes as well. So definitely looking for some higher prices. The other thing that you want to point out, or that you want to look at as well, is you can see that we traded sideways here for pretty much a year. You know, look at all these candles right here, just trading rare, very small candles, high and tight price, and then look at this breakout. We're finally breaking out of this range here. I really think that we could be looking at a big-time breakout here on GoPro in the long run. So looking for some higher prices on GoPro. Got some support at about 1090. To me, this is going to be that level that I want GoPro to stay above. So as long as GoPro is above 1090, I'm bullish. If it's below 1090, I'm not necessarily bearish, but I want to see it, you know, sustain over 1090 in order to remain bullish. So, you know, keep in mind, you know, you can always re-enter a trade. So there's a lot of misconceptions about, you know, keeping your stops tight versus keeping them lower. Well, if you keep your stops tight, yeah, you're going to get stopped out. You can always re-enter that trade. All right. So would you rather get stopped out, you know, 5 times at 1090 for 30-cent loss, or would you rather get stopped out, you know, once for down here at $9 for, you know, a $2 loss? You know, that's the difference. Okay. So you can take these small paper cuts versus a big, huge wound dash if you sold down here at 9. So just kind of going over a little example here. Again, I'm bullish on GoPro as long as it's over 1090. So the next one we're going to take a look at is Tesla. And Tesla, this is one that we covered here last week, and we called for higher prices on Tesla if we broke over this trend line. We got that with some nice big volume right here. This is exactly what you want to see. We're coming into the target here at about 384 based off of this previous resistance up here. So I definitely think it's going to react to that level and potentially take some kind of a pause. It's definitely not, you know, a short that I would take, but it's just something to be aware of, you know, for maybe some short-term options traders that, you know, have to deal with theta and time decay. You know, maybe some profit-taking area would be a good area up here at 384. So just be aware of that. If we do end up coming up here and then getting rejected and coming back down, to me this is just a good re-entry down here at about 360. You know, we've got this big trend line right here. It started in March, got a bounce there, right there, several bounces here, and we can just extend that, keep extending that, and you can see it matches up perfectly there. I'm going to extend that downtrend line. So if we head lower after getting rejected here, to me it's a great buying opportunity. Got the 20-day moving average and the 50-day moving average right there, both that will act as support as well. So some nice levels below us if we do head lower for a nice bounce. Next one we're going to take a look at is Google. And Google, to me, you know, this is not great action that we saw on Friday. We ended up actually on Thursday as well. So you can see this gap down here on Thursday, closed below the previous day's low. And then right here on Friday, we ended up closing below this trend line as well with some heavy volume. Okay, so this doesn't look great for Google, but what I want to kind of present to you is if we get a gap up tomorrow and a break of Friday's high. So Friday's high was 941.75. So 941.75. If we break that, to me, this is going to be a great long signal. You know, Google is quite a bullish stock overall, and it tends to kind of fake out the short side traders. So, yes, it looks weak here. We had some heavy volume come out of it. You know, we got rejected at the downtrend line. We're below this support, below the 20-day moving average. So more than likely we're going to head lower. But if we get a gap up and a break over that previous day's high, to me that's going to be a really, really nice long signal, as that is going to be considered a false breakdown. False breakdowns lead to big moves to the upside. So no bias either way for me. I have no position on Google right now, but to me, if Google breaks previous day's high after a gap up, to me that's going to be a nice long signal, as I think if it does happen, it'll come up here and hit about 970 to 975. So keep an eye out for that. If it doesn't gap up and break over that level, then most likely it's going to come back down and come down and test this support down here. So Monday's action is going to be critical to where Google heads in the future. Next, we're going to take a look at Netflix. And Netflix, you can see, broke over this resistance here. You can clearly see it was resistance, previous support there, and now it turned into resistance. You can see that broke over right here. So if we do head lower into about 179, 180, to me that's a buying opportunity. We've got the 20-day and the 50-day moving average coming up together. That'll act as support. So definitely be looking for that level here on Netflix. The next one we're going to take a look at is Facebook. And Facebook, this one, you know, kind of just trading sideways for basically 2 months now, ever since this gap up on earnings. As you can see, it hasn't really gone anywhere since that happened. So is this building up energy for a move higher, or is it building up energy and distributing price up here for a move lower? I really don't know. I don't have a crystal ball, but what I can tell you is you can play with two different levels. So if we crack 174, it's going to be a breakout higher, and it's going to break out much, much higher. If we crack about 165, that's going to be a crack lower, and we're going to head down to about 155. All right, and you can clearly see, you know, even if we head down to 155, you know, this is still nothing on the blip of this extremely bullish stock. So even if we do head lower, still very bullish. But just kind of be aware of these two main levels: 165, 174. Pay attention to these two main levels on Facebook, and you're going to do just fine. The next one is Amazon, and Amazon is nesting really nicely here above this support. So here we are, had this resistance there, here. We broke over it right here on Wednesday, and then Thursday and Friday we just saw some really nice calm inside days of this breakout day. So what I mean by inside is, you know, this day traded inside the high and the low of this day, and this day as well inside the day of this breakout day as well. So we're kind of just consolidating, building up energy for the next move higher. At least that's the way that I'm seeing it, as I do think that Amazon is going to get a bounce off of this level and then head back up to about 1020. So just like Priceline, Amazon and Google as well gap down huge on earnings right here, and you saw 3 days in a row right here with some big selling volume right here, and we're still below those lows. All right, we're still below those levels here. So just kind of want to point that out, that those levels are still going to be, that's still a bearishness that we have to kind of deal with and be prepared for. Not saying that Amazon is going to come down after hitting those levels, but just something to kind of be aware of. Let's keep it in the back of our heads to see kind of how we react. You know, if we come up here on Amazon and we hit this level up here and we get some high volume inverted hammer. An inverted hammer, if you don't know, it's basically, the opposite of a hammer. So here's a hammer right here, came down, and then bounced off support, and then had this long buying tail at the bottom. So same kind of action as these right here. And you can clearly see how when we came down, we created these buying tails, we ended up heading much higher after there. So if we see that happen, maybe a break over this resistance here, and then a rejection here back underneath it, that's going to be a short signal. So again, I don't have a crystal ball. I don't know if that's going to happen. I'm just kind of pointing it out, giving you some kind of a plan to work with, something to look for in the future for a potential thing to happen. All right, the next one we're going to take a look at is Apple. And Apple here, I want to point out a couple of things here on Apple. We broke this trend line, you can see, and this is, again, not a huge trend line. It's only been valid since July, so, this isn't some huge breakdown alert on Apple or anything like that. But, something to note here, we did break this short-term trend line. Here's a bounce, there's a bounce, here's a bounce. And then we tried to break below it here, and then ended up kind of puttering out at it right here, and obviously we're below it right here. And you can see right here on this day, this was the iPhone event day. You can clearly see that was a engulfing day here with some heavy volume right here, and the second day as well had some heavy volume as well. And to me, those days kind of showed some weakness here. But then you had on Friday, you had another heavy volume day that was heavier than this volume day, still not as high as this volume day, but a green day that ended up closing over the previous day's high. So I kind of have mixed feelings about Apple. To me, it kind of go either way. Obviously, longer term, there's a very bullish stock here, so you got to give the kind of the points to the bulls here, the benefit of the doubt rather to the bulls here. But we're still below this trend line. And another thing too is we had this resistance here, right there, and we broke over it right here, and then we ended up closing back under it. So to me, it's kind of a clear rejection of this price level up here. So we'll kind of see what happens. I know I'm being kind of vague on Apple, but that's really just how I'm seeing it. I don't have a position on Apple, so just kind of throwing that out there. And I don't really plan on it, just because of, I feel like I don't have a great read on Apple based off of, the mixed signals that I'm getting on this stock. So we'll see what happens. Clearly there's a level right here that you want to focus on as a near-term level of support. I'm going to draw that right around 158. You can clearly see, boom, boom, boom here, 3 days in a row where that was the low. So if that level breaks, then I think that Apple is going to head down to about 154. All right, so if 158 breaks, I think we're going to head into 154. That's a big if. All right, so pay attention to these levels here, and you're going to do just fine. All right, thank you for stopping by and watching this video, everyone. Hopefully you learned a thing or two from this video, and thank you for stopping by once again. Again, if you're not already a member at thetradinganalyst.com, visit us on the homepage and get to know us a little bit better. Once you do that, sign up for the premium membership. Once you sign up with that premium membership, you're going to get instant access to the profitable trade alerts that our current members are getting on a daily and weekly basis. It's a great opportunity, and we'd love to help you start making some profitable trades in the market.